Hello, everyone, and welcome to Lesson 3 of Speaking and Speech uh, with Kiki. Hi, everyone. Okay, let's get started. First, I'd like to do a quick review of what we talked about in the previous lesson. As you may remember, we talked about being a teacher, we talked about faking it, and we talked about being warm. When we talk about being warm, what did we mean? That's right, you guessed it, the smile. There are other things that we're going to talk about, for example, changing the tone of your voice. We're going to talk about that again. That's really important in English. And probably we'll talk about faking it, but let's talk about faking it more today. Because today we're going to talk a little bit about posture and Superman. Anyway, we'll get to that, all right? But we did say that, like fake laughter, confidence is something that you can pretend to have and people will think you have it, and that's enough. Okay. And being a teacher. Let's talk a little bit more about being a teacher because that was part of the reading. So let's just quickly review it. In the reading, you should have gone over that the good teacher never blames another person for not already knowing something. That may have seemed strange to you. I'm not sure if you have any teaching experience or if you have kids. I know that when I was teaching smaller children, of course, it's frustrating. Their context is not like your context. Why can they use a smartphone but they don't know, simple mathematics? That kind of thing. However, that one doesn't bother me that much because I studied comparative literature. Comparative literature is basically saying that the whole world has similar ideas, but the context that we use to talk about those ideas is different. Makes sense. So I taught a class at a young age. I taught a class to much younger students. They were freshmen, and I was in graduate school. I taught a comparative literature class, and I thought it was really interesting because I was talking to them about older books, things written in the 1900s, and at the end of the class, they compared those things to things written in 2000 and whatever, new music. I thought that was, hey, they got it. That's right. Everything is connected. All knowledge is connected. So connecting those two things was exactly the point. So I definitely did not blame them. I didn't think they were stupid. So I think this advice is correct. Just because a foreigner doesn't have the same background information as you do as a Korean or whatever country you're from, doesn't mean you can't understand each other. Just means that your references will be different. For example, I'm going to talk about Batman and the Avengers and Iron Man, whatever. And you may be a much more feminine woman who doesn't watch superhero movies, doesn't care about sci-fi, like my husband. And those things won't mean anything to you. Iron who? Anyway. So you have to just choose different examples. That's fine. And we're going to talk about picking examples. Maybe I'm not the best person. Maybe my examples have not been clear. Hopefully they have. Feel free to leave a comment at the bottom saying if you understood the example or you didn't. Those comments, they mean something. They're important to me. All right? The next one is a good teacher doesn't get angry. Everybody has a bad day. Everybody gets angry. What can I say? All I can say is I'm human. Snap. But it's true when you're practicing for your public speaking. And if you follow my advice and you choose to teach somebody, you can't get angry at them. You have to find a way to detach yourself from the situation. So, for example, it's very important for me to teach you English. It's very important for me that you try, that you make mistakes, and that you keep going. But honestly, there's nothing that I can say or do that's going to make you do the homework, read the article, watch an English speaking TV show. Nothing I could do. So, from my experience from teaching all ages, I just know the people who want to do it will do it. I am going to just give them my pitch. This is my salesmanship. This is my happy, warm, confident face, and say, hey, if you keep trying with me, then we'll get somewhere. But if you don't want to try, don't. That's just one of the many choices you're going to make in your life. So make it. Works well with adults, not so much with younger children. That was one of the reasons I didn't stay in kindergarten and after-school programs. The kids didn't have a choice. They had to be there, but they didn't want to be there, which made for a very difficult relationship. I was putting in a lot of energy and a lot of effort to make classes interesting and fun. And I told them, you should do the homework because I'm taking the time to make the homework and give you the homework and review the homework. You do, I'll do. But that's not really always possible. So if you end up choosing to teach younger people, hopefully you'll be in a different situation where they don't have to be there. That's a different situation, and that you can deal with it. It's possible. There's research out there, and you can look it up, or we can talk about it if you send me a message, leave a comment, send a message. I can go over it if you're really stuck. Personally, I just stepped out of it. I said, yeah, you're right. In Korea, knowing English is really important, but if you're at an after-school program and they have very strict rules, or they only are willing to do something one way, then that's not for me, because all students are not the same. We talked about different kinds of learners. All information is not accepted in the same way. Students have different attention spans. They have different psychological needs. They have different reasons for being there. With older students, it's easier because they can explain things to you, like, oh, today I'm having a bad day. I don't want to do any homework, or I just didn't do the homework. And you say, that's fine, no worries. Oh, let's just do it together. It's no problem. With young children, they can't always explain to you what's happening, and that just makes it more frustrating. And teachers shouldn't be getting angry. That being said, how many children have I made cry? Shame. I'm ashamed of the number. The number is rather high. It wasn't really because of me. It was their own situation. Just they couldn't explain it. So it seemed like it was because of me. But yeah,